Welcome to the December 7th, 2021 Calaveras County Board of Supervisors regular meeting. Madam Clerk, will you please read our closed session for today?
Item number 1, pursuant to Government Code Section 54957.6, conference with County Designated Labor Negotiators Judy Hawkins, Nick Marvin, and Shay Johnson regarding the following employee organizations: Calaveras County Public Safety Employees Association, CCP SEA, Calaveras Management Union, and Calaveras Supervisors Union. Item number 2, pursuant to Government Code Section 54956.9D1, conference with legal counsel regarding existing litigation, Greer et al. Versus Calaveras County Superior Court case number 18 CV 43460. Item number 3.
Robin, the interpreter can't hear you.
Is it any of us or just her?
Well, I don't know because...
Can you hear me? Okay. I don't believe she can hear me either, so does that
Can you
mean
hear
the
me
public
now?
Can hear us?
I can hear you, but there's a whole bunch of echo.
Is it any better now?
Now you're quieter, but there's no echo. I mean, I can barely hear you.
Is it any better now? Can you hear me better?
Say some more.
Can you hear me now?
Yeah, it's really weird quality. It's very underwater sounding.
Okay. What the heck?
Commented you are muted.
Maybe I'll just use one. Can you hear me now by talking into this microphone?
No, that's worse. I think it might be that you have more than one microphone picking you up.
Is the one on the HB on?
Yeah.
Yeah, that one has to be on, they can't hear.
Is it any better right now?
Yeah,
Okay.
I think you just did something.
Okay. Okay. So,
Well, it's still a little echoey. I don't know. We'll go with it.
okay.
I say maybe we can proceed with reading the closed session agenda, and then when
can
we
do
go
testing.
recess into closed session, can play around with it.
Item number 3, pursuant to Government Code Section 54956.9D4, conference with legal counsel regarding initiation of litigation, one case. Item 4, pursuant to Government Code Section 54956.9D1, conference with legal counsel regarding existing litigation, Mitchlock et al. Versus County of Calaveras, Calaveras County Superior Court case number 18 CV 43075.
Any public comment?
There is no public comment.
Thank you. With that, we'll recess into closed session. Welcome back to the December 7th, 2021 regular meeting of the Calaveras County Board of Supervisors. Will everyone please join me for the pledge? I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Madam Clerk, can you please report out for closed session?
Item number 1, pursuant to Government Code Section 54957.6, conference with County Designated Labor Negotiators Judy Hawkins, Nick Marvin, and Shay Johnson regarding the following employee organizations: Calaveras County Public Safety Employees Association, CCP SEA, Calaveras Management Union, and Calaveras Supervisors Union. There was no reportable action taken. Item number 2, pursuant to Government Code Section 54956.9D1, conference with legal counsel regarding existing litigation, Greer et al. Versus Calaveras County, Calaveras County Superior Court, case number 18CV43460. There was no reportable board action taken. Item number 3, pursuant to Government Code Section 54956.9D4, conference with legal counsel regarding initiation of litigation 1 case. Board direction to initiate an action has been given. Details will be provided to any requests once the action has formally commenced. Item number 4, pursuant to Government Code Section 54956.9D1, conference with legal counsel regarding existing litigation, Mitchlick et al. Versus County of Calaveras, Calaveras County Superior Court, case number 18CV43075. There was no reportable action taken.
Thank you. With that, we'll move on to staff announcements. This is time for county staff to provide updates of upcoming county events that may be of interest to the public. Ms. Lisa Medina.
Good morning, Chair Stopper, respected board members, CAO Von Latta, and Madam Clerk of the Board, Lisa Medina, Environmental Management Agency. Today I have a few announcements. Our Environmental Management Agency is made up of 5 departments, including our Agriculture, Animal Services, Air Pollution Control District, APCD for short, Environmental Health, and our on-site wastewater departments. You have heard me speak to the Animal Services departments on several occasions, but today I'm going to share a little bit about our APCD, our Air Pollution Control District, and what we have been able to do for our Calaveras community over the past several years. The APCD is funded through permitting fees and also various grants awarded by the California Air Resources Board, CARB, including the Carl Moyer program. The Carl Moyer program provides grant funds to replace old diesel equipment. Doug Carson, our air pollution control specialist, has been very instrumental in facilitating the Carl Moyer program and several other APCD grants. The Carl Moyer program has been a huge success in Calaveras County over the past several years, and APCD has used this money to help replace high-polluting diesel vehicles with low-emission vehicles by awarding funds towards the purchase of the following: 2 school buses for the Calaveras Unified School District, a fire truck for the Consolidated Calaveras Fire District, 1 school bus for Mark Twain Union Elementary School District, 1 school bus for the Bret Harte Union School District, 3 electric bus charging stations for the Calaveras Unified School District, 1 weight truck with that famous knuckle boom crane for our agricultural department, which is used in the certification of high capacity scales for businesses, 1 school bus for the Bret Harte Union High School District, and currently we are in the process of providing funds to help Mark Twain Elementary buy a new bus and helping Bret Harte School District to purchase a charger for their new electric bus. For our animal services, we can't forget them. During the month of November, Ellie, Mario, Iris, Dario, Maple, Ash, and Fritz were adopted, and to date we have had 85 shelter animals that have gone home with their humans to their forever homes. And that is all I have. Thank you.
Thank you, Ms. Medina. Ms. Barbara Sullivan, good to see you. In the flesh.
Good morning. I like being here present during this time because we're very busy over there. But yes, good morning, Board. Barbara Sullivan, Treasurer Tax Collector. I'm here to make the annual announcement for the first current secured property taxes that are due by this Friday, 5 p.m. The next one will be due April 11th because it falls on a Sunday. So if there's any consolation to that, but anyway. So I just want to make the announcement. Marita's not here. She always likes me to tell her, so I'll email her.
Excellent, Ms. Sullivan. Thank you.
All right.
I do have a question to clarify.
Yes.
If they mail it to you and it's postmarked the 10th, even though you get it the 11th or 12th, it's still good because of the postmark, correct?
Correct. It has to be postmarked by the post office, not electronic check, not one of those. So yes,
Yeah, okay.
most definitely.
Thank you.
Thank you for bringing it up. Okay. Have a good day. Merry Christmas.
Have a wonderful day.
Thanks, Barbara.
Any further staff announcements?
There are no further staff announcements.
Thank you, Ms. Glanville. We'll move on to recognitions and acknowledgements. 5. Ms. Fullendorf. Oh, Mr. Karamindy, I apologize.
No worries, Mr. Chair. It is my honor today to read a proclamation recognizing December 7th as National Pearl Harbor Remembrance Day. Whereas 80 years ago today, in 1941, the United States suffered a surprise military assault at Pearl Harbor, a critical naval facility where thousands of military service members and personnel were stationed. The attack on Pearl Harbor claimed the lives of 2,403 American warriors and 68 civilians, with more than 1,100 others being wounded during the attack. And whereas the attack on Pearl Harbor represented a serious and costly blow to America's military force in the Pacific, leading directly to the involvement of the United States in World War II, which ultimately cost the lives of more than 400,000 courageous American service members. And whereas the timeless words of Franklin D. Roosevelt on the day after the attack have been etched into our nation's collective memory when he declared to Congress and to the American people that December 7th, 1941 is a day which will live in infamy, and requested a formal declaration of war from Congress. And whereas the service and sacrifice of each American patriot who made the ultimate sacrifice at Pearl Harbor will never be forgotten, but will continue to inspire immeasurable gratitude and appreciation for generations to come. Whereas Calaveras County joins our nation in honoring those whose lives were forever changed that December morning, and resolved to uphold the legacy of all who stepped forward in our nation's time of need. Is there any public comment? Seeing none, Mr. Chair, may I ask for a first? I have motion?
Absolutely, Mr. Garamendi.
A motion.
I'll move this item.
Moved by Supervisor Toffenelli. Is there a second?
Second.
Second by Supervisor Fallendorf. All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Carries 5-4-0-1 absent. Now therefore be it proclaimed that the Board of Supervisors, County of Calaveras, State of California, does hereby designate December 7, 2021 as Pearl Harbor Remembrance Day in Calaveras County, and encourages all citizens to observe this solemn day of remembrance and honor our brave military men and women who fought and sacrificed for our freedom. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Mr. Garamendi. We'll move on to general public comment. Any item of interest to the public that is within the subject matter jurisdiction of the board and is not posted on the consent or regular agendas may be addressed during the public comment period. California law prohibits the board from taking action on any matter which is not posted on the agenda unless it is determined to be an emergency by the Board of Supervisors. If public comment is completed before the 30-minute allotted time period, the board may immediately move to the next order of business. If public comment is not completed during the allotted time period, it will be continued as the last item of business in order to provide an opportunity for the remainder of comments to be heard. Public comment.
There is no online public comment.
Thank you very much. If there's no one in the room, it seems there is not, we'll move on to our consent agenda. Consent agenda. Consent agenda items are expected to be routine and non-controversial. They will be acted upon by the board at one time without discussion. Any board member, staff member, or interested party may request removal of an item from the consent agenda for later discussion. Are there any board members that would like to remove an item? Ms. Fullendorf.
I'd like to pull item number 13.
Item 13. Thank you. Any further items? Staff members. 15?
Good morning. Good morning. I would like to pull item number 15.
Do you want to pull it, or do you want to remove it for a later date?
No, just I'd like to have the first part of it approved. The second part we will need to adjust.
Sounds good.
Thank you.
Mr. Pachter. Are there any public that would like to pull any items?
There is no public that would like to pull items.
Very good. I will entertain a motion on the remainder. Thank you, Mr. Garamendi.
Second?
A second by Ms. Fullendorf. All those in favor? Aye. Those opposed? Passes on a 4-0, 1 absent vote of the board. We'll move to item 13. Ms. Fullendorf.
I guess I should have rephrased my request. The reason for pull, I would like to have it continue to another meeting for further discussion with staff in light of some new information.
Any board members against that? With that, then we'll remove it to a later date to be determined.
Do we need to vote on that, or is it just?
Do we?
Typically, if it's being moved to a particular date, we would have a motion to move it to that specific date. Otherwise, it can just be pulled and then staff will need to re-agendize it for a later meeting.
Thank you. Mr. Packinger, item 15.
Good morning. Item number 15 contains 2 agreements. The agreements are for mitigation requirements for the State Route 4 Wagon Trail project. You may remember some time ago that we brought an agreement with the Rana Ranch, Shabram's property, for setting aside an area for mitigation. So these 2 agreements would be in addition to that mitigation that has already been set up. So in this case, item number 1 is an oak woodland mitigation credit area that we must purchase, and it's an agreement with Fremont Landing Conservation Bank, which is owned by the Riparian Ranch. That agreement is fine. It's for the accommodation of 631 oak trees, etc., that need to be set aside. So that agreement is perfectly fine to be executed at your approval. The second agreement, unfortunately, the Stream Channel Mitigation Credit with the National Fish and Wildlife Foundation, has run into a little bit of a problem. There is some issue between Caltrans and the National Fish and Wildlife Foundation that needs to be resolved, and so that agreement is not ready to be executed at this time. That one would be for, it says, well, they're trying to buy aquatic resource credits for the loss of stream channel habitat, which is things that we must do.
So the part of the agreement with the Fish and Wildlife, you're requesting that we remove that part and address the rest of the item 15.
That is
Right now.
correct, sir. Yes, sir.
I think we can definitely clarify that. Any questions by board members? Ms. Fullendorf? No? Okay, I'm going to give an opportunity for public comment real quick. Unless there's more clarification, Mr. Packinger.
That is it.
Okay.
There is no public comment.
Okay, I'll bring it back to the board and entertain a motion amending it by excluding the contract with the Fish and Wildlife. I'm trying to scroll down and get the exact number on it, but.
I'll move to authorize the first purchase contract and remove number 2, authorizing the Fish and Wildlife Foundation purchase to be moved to a later date. Does that work?
A motion by Ms. Fullendorf,
Is that me?
Correct.
Okay, I'll second.
a second by Mr. Toffenelli. All those in favor? Aye. Those opposed? Passes on a 4-0-1 absent of the board. Thank you, Mr. Packinger.
Thank you, sir.
We'll move on to the regular agenda. My understanding is the clerk would like to pull item 31 to bring back on a definite date of December 14th. Do we have to agree on that, Ms. Edwards? Is it important?
Yeah, I think if a board member wants to make a motion to continue that item to the 14th, that would be fine.
Yeah, and it's just for, we need to make some edits on some of the dates that were put up for our board calendar, as simple as that. So the posted board calendar and the agenda was slightly off, so we need to, we'll just bring it back on the 14th.
So I'll make a motion to move it to the 14th.
Thank you, Mr. Garamendi. Second by Ms. Fullendorf. All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye. 401 absent of the board to move it to the 14th. Now we'll go back to item 23. Am I correct, Ms. Glanville? Okay. Just want to make sure I get this in the right order right now. Ordinance, planning. Find project exempt from CEQA, conduct a public hearing, and adopt an ordinance amending the zoning of 3 parcels from general agriculture A1 to agriculture preserve for established California Land Conservation Contract Agriculture Preserve number 381 totaling 707.13 acres for Harold V. and Geraldine A. Hatler and James W. Hatler. Authorize publication of brief property description. I'm going to open the public hearing at this time. Ms. Cathan.
Yes. Okay, my apologies. It seems as though we have items 23 and 24 mixed up. They're transposed. We actually have to establish the contract prior to adopting the zoning. So 24 needs to come before 23. So the resolution has to come before the ordinance.
I'll correct it right now for you, Ms. Cathan.
Yeah, I'm sorry. We must have
my apologies. I was
got that out of
cleaning up the order. I think I just missed that one in my notes. With that, I'm going to go ahead and close that public hearing that I just opened for no reason and move. We're going to go ahead and go with item 24, resolution planning ID number 6421, find project exempt from CEQA, conduct a public hearing, and adopt a resolution to establish California Land Conservation Contract Agricultural Preserve number 384, totaling 200.78 acres for Harold V. and Geraldine A. Hatler et al. At this time, I'll open the public hearing, and Gina Cathan, thank you very much for being here today.
Good morning, everyone. So, as previously mentioned, this is a California Land Conservation Contract and Agriculture Preserve 381 for the Hatler family, consisting of 707.13 acres of land, 3 assessor parcel numbers located approximately 6.5 miles southeast of the town of Milton and south of the Salt Springs Reservoir. The property owners also own the adjacent 800 plus acres, some of which is also in the preserve. They utilize this land as one ranch for cattle grazing, and they have been doing so for the better part of 60 years. Improvements such as corrals, developed water systems are shared across the entire ranch. Specific improvements on the subject properties include perimeter fencing only. Currently, the ranch is leased by Rex Whittle, who runs approximately 85 head of beef cattle, reporting a gross annual income from his cattle production of $10,200. A feasibility study was conducted by the Calaveras County Farm Advisor, Scott Onetto, finding that the land is capable of producing an annual income of $29.70 per acre, far exceeding the minimum $2,000 required to maintain the preserve. The general plan designates this property as resource production, identifying those lands capable and primarily used for agricultural operations. This category includes lands of conservation easements, critical habitat areas, including agriculture preserves and timber production. Upon establishment of the California Land Conservation Contract, this property must be zoned AP. The agriculture preserve zoning applies to lands for which a Williamson Act contract has been executed. This land is located in a high and very high fire hazard area of the county. The California Natural Diversity Database identifies up to 5 different protected birds, plants, and animal species within a 5-mile radius.
Ms. Catherine, I'm sorry. Are you reading item 25?
707 acres?
Yes, actually, they're kind of pretty
They're
much
similar.
the same presentation, but yes, this pertains to, no, this pertains to item 24.
24 says 200 acres. 24 says 200 acres, 25 is 707 acres, which is what you're reading.
Oh, my apologies. No wonder it was mixed up. I've got 2 Hatler projects. So the first one is a standalone, no.
I'm going to just sit back while you sort this.
Oh, okay, I see what happened. Okay, so 23 and 25 go together. My apologies, I don't know how we got this mixed up. 24 is a standalone.
Yeah.
So, yes, you are correct, Mr. Topanelli. So this actually is item 25. For 707.13 acres. And along with this will come the next item, which will be 23, which will be the ordinance. Are we all clear?
So we're on 25?
We're on 25.
Okay, so I'm going to amend what I said for everything for 24 and just put 25, and I'm opening the public hearing, and please continue.
We're almost done.
And then before I start the next one, tell me which one I need to start before I...
You got it, okay. So this area of the county is identified as having 0 to low groundwater potential, although there are several springs. Hoods Creek and tributaries to Hoods Creek traverse the property, all providing a seasonal source of water. The applicants noted that the springs are generally reliable, but in drought years they have been known to have to transport water to the cattle. During the April 21st public meeting, your appointed Ag Advisory Committee, in addition to support from your Agriculture Commissioner, voted 5-0, recommending that you establish this land as an agriculture preserve. In a duly noted public hearing of the Planning Commission on October 8th, they also considered this application, and they too passed this along with a positive recommendation for approval. So in conclusion, this application is consistent with the county general plan and applicable provisions of the county zoning code, goals and policies of the resource production element, and the general plan encourage participation of the California Land Conservation Act of 1965. Policies of the conservation and open space element encourage the preservation of open space to protect wildlife, including agricultural land. Maintenance of the maintaining the land in agriculture will reduce flammable vegetation, thus reducing the risk of wildfires. The parcels meet the minimum 100-acre requirement for the annual income production, exceeding the minimum of $2,000 required to maintain the preserve. The application is supported by your Agricultural Commissioner, your Ag Advisory Committee, in addition to your County Planning Commission. Open space contracts and easements are categorically exempt from SEQA, and our recommendation to you is that you establish this land as agriculture preserve. And this would be contract 381.
Are you sure?
Just second guess myself? Yes, I'm sure.
Thank you, Gina. I'll bring it back to the board. Are the Hatlers here for comment? Okay. With that, Ms. Fullendorf, it's in your district, and tentatively, or it's in District 4, and tentatively it will be in District 5 if we approve a certain kind of map. So I personally have no objection to anything like this.
I don't have any objections.
All right. So with that, public comment.
There is no public comment.
Okay, then I will bring it back to the board, and I will close the public hearing and entertain a motion.
I'll move.
A motion by Supervisor Follendorf, and I will go ahead and second it with a tentative approval of a map. All those in favor? Aye. Aye. Any opposed? Passes on a 401 absent of the Board of Supervisors. Ms. Cathan, should I go to number 24 and then back to 23?
No, so 23 is the ordinance that should follow the resolution that you just voted to approve.
Okay, so 24? 23.
23.
23, okay. I'm going to go and read off 23. Ordinance, planning, ID number 6420, find projects exempt from CEQA, conduct a public hearing and adopt an ordinance amending the zoning of 3 parcels from general agriculture A1 to agricultural preserve for the established California Land Conservation Contract Agricultural Preserve number 381, totaling 707.13 acres for Harold V. and Geraldine A. Hatler and James W. Hatler, authorized publication of brief property description. I'm opening the public hearing. Ms. Caput.
Okay. So continuing on, now that we've established Agriculture Preserve 381, we need to adopt an ordinance to amend the zoning of all 3 of those parcels, namely APNs 50-33-009, 50-33-011, and 50-33-014, all from the current A1 General Agriculture Zone to AP Agriculture Preserve, signifying the land is under a California Land Conservation Contract.
And I assume the Hatlers are still not here for comment?
I'm certain they're not.
Any board comments? No? Public comment?
There is no public comment.
I'll bring it back to the board and close the public hearing. Entertain a motion.
So moved.
I will go ahead and second that. So a motion by Supervisor Follendorf, a second by Supervisor Stopper. All those in favor? Aye. Those opposed? Passes on a 401 absent of the Board of Supervisors. Now can I do 24?
Yes.
Thank you very much, Ms. Kaplan. Item 24, resolution, planning, ID number 6421, find project exempt from CEQA, conduct a public hearing, and adopt a resolution to establish California Land Conservation Contract Agriculture Preserve number 384, totaling 200.78 acres for Harold V. and Geraldine A. Hatler et al. Ms. Kaplan.
Okay. So the Hatler family filed an application to establish California Land Conservation Contract Agriculture Preserve 384 for a total of 200.78 acres of land located approximately 2 miles east of the town of Milton, lying west of the Salt Springs Reservoir. Like others you've previously heard this year, this was an existing agriculture preserve that was inadvertently disestablished upon the establishment of the 411-acre ag preserve for Clifford and Sherry Overmeyer in 2020. This land has been in the preserve since 1971. Since their purchase of the property in 2013, the Hatler family has been reporting a gross annual income from their cattle operation of $3,840 the county agriculture commissioner and is otherwise in good standings. Since this land is already in the preserve, these parcels, or I should say this parcel, is zoned appropriately, and so there will be no zoning action necessary. This is simply a matter of housekeeping. We need to establish this property as its own separate preserve in order for the Hattlers to continue in the Williamson Act.
Thank you, Ms. Catherine. With that, I assume the Hattlers are still not commenting. The board, I assume, is comfortable, so public comment.
There is no public comment.
All right, bring it back to the board, close the public hearing, entertain a motion.
So moved.
Thank you, Ms. Fullendorf. All second. All those in favor? Aye. Those opposed? Passes on a 401 absent of the Board of Supervisors. Just prior to these next few items, I'm going to go ahead and give everyone a 10-minute break.
Thank you.
Thank you, Dina.
Thank you, Gina. Welcome back to the Calaveras County Board of Supervisors regular meeting, Tuesday, December 7th, 2021. We just finished the first three items in the regular agenda. We'll be moving to item 29, putting it prior to item 26. So item number 29, resolution, economic and community development, by roll call vote, adopt a resolution to apply and accept the California Department of Parks and Recreation Proposition 68 per capita grant allocation in the amount of $400,000. 2, pre-approve state's proposed grant contract terms. 3, approve and authorize the Department of Economic and Community Development to administer the grant and sign and submit all required documents on its behalf. And 4, establish the Proposition 68 per capita grant reimbursement local program for a period ending June 30th, 2024. Ms. Catherine Galino.
Good morning, Chair Stopper, Honorable Board. Kathy Galino, your Economic and Community Development Director. Before you today is the application and resolution for the Proposition 68 per capita grant funding for Parks and Recreation in our county. It has been an interesting program, to say the least, and a lot of great communication with our Parks and Rec Commission and support by them as well on these projects that will be coming before you.
Any questions by any board members? Public comment?
There is no public comment.
I'll bring it back to the board. And
I do have a question. Why are we calling for a roll call vote?
because the state requires it, is they wrote that in. Same question I had last week when we were going over it.
Yes.
Yeah, good point.
It's required by the grant application and the resolution.
So moved.
Thank you, Mr. Garamendi. A motion by Mr. Garamendi.
Second.
A second by Mr. Toffanelli. Roll call vote. District 1.
Yes.
District 2.
Yes.
District 3 is absent. District 4.
Yes.
And District 5 is an aye. Passes on a 401 absent of the Board of Supervisors.
Yeah, we know why.
Thank you.
It's not here.
She doesn't do roll call votes, does she?
She doesn't fold either.
No comment. Item 26, action item, economic and community development. Find project exempt from CEQA. Authorize the board chair to execute the memorandum of understanding with Vallecito Union District and the Feeney Park Foundation to receive Proposition 68 grant funding in the amount of $30,000 for restroom and pathway improvements at Feeney Park, including a 20-year land tenure agreement as required by the Proposition 68 per capita grant procedures. Ms. Catherine Galina.
Good morning, Chair Stopper, Honorable Board. Kathy Galino here again. This project was brought forward again by the Calaveras County Parks and Rec Commission to do some upgrades at the Feeney Park, primarily the restrooms and the walking pathway there. And it's been well received by the community. They're excited. Vallecito Union School District has been very supportive, as well as Feeney Park Foundation. And so this project is before you for your approval and any questions that I can answer.
Mr. Garamendi.
I'm sorry.
Thank you for having your mic on. Seems we don't have questions at this time. We'll call for public comment.
There is no public comment.
Bring it back to the board. If there's no further questions, entertain a motion.
I'll move this item for Marita. She's not here.
Thank you, Mr. Toffenelli. A motion by Mr. Toffenelli. Do we have a second?
Second.
A second by Supervisor Follendorf. All those in favor?
Aye.
Those opposed? Passes on a 401 absent of the Board of Supervisors. Item 27, action item, Economic and Community Development. Find project exempt from CEQA. Authorize the board chair to execute the memorandum of understanding with San Andreas Recreation and Parks District to receive Proposition 68 grant funding in the amount of $70,000 for ball field fencing replacement at the Alex Quinones Park, and direct staff to record a 20-year deed restriction on the property as required by Proposition 68 per capita grant funding. Ms. Catherine Galina.
Good morning, Chair Stopper, Honorable Board. Kathy Galino, Economic and Community Development Director. This project is for the replacement of the Field B across the street here at Alex Quinones Park in San Andreas. The fence is in really bad shape. It's falling apart and needs to be replaced, and this is a great opportunity again to use these dollars for our local community. And also with me today is Matt Brock. He is with the San Andreas Recs and Park District in support of this. So this is before you for your approval.
Any questions by the board members? Mr. Brock, is there anything you would like to say?
I'd like to say good morning, and I want to say thank you very much to our board for supporting our local parks. Most of these parks are run by all volunteers, and it's a challenge to come up with even the manpower to apply for grants. And to actually have one come through is huge for us, and we really appreciate it. This is going to serve our ballpark across the street, which serves thousands of visitors a year. Most of the kids that play Little League and baseball in our county play at that park during the year, and also all the adult softball organizations play there. So once again, I really appreciate, on behalf of all the folks on our commission, really appreciate the support here. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Brock, and I just want to thank you for your advocacy for the community and all the work you do put in. We really appreciate that. Any further public comment?
There is no further public comment.
I'll bring it back to the board and entertain a motion. Mr. Toffenelli.
I will move this item, Mr. Chair.
Thank you, sir. We have a motion by Supervisor Toffenelli.
Second.
A second by Supervisor Garamendi. All those in favor?
Aye.
Those opposed? Passes on a 401 absent of the Board of Supervisors.
Sorry, Mr. Chair.
Just don't do it again. Teasing Mr. Garamendi.
Spam.
Item 28, action item, Economic and Community Development. Find project exempt from CEQA. Authorize the board chair to execute the memorandum of understanding with Calaveras Unified School District and Blue Mountain Community Renewal Council to receive Proposition 68 grant funding in the amount of $300,000 for gym, ball field, playground, and restroom improvements at the Railroad Flat Recreation Center, including a 30-year land tenure agreement as required by the Proposition 68 per capita grant procedures. Ms. Catherine Galina.
Good morning, Chair Stopper, Honorable Board. Kathy Galino here, Economic and Community Development Director. So before you today is another project for the Prop 68 per capita allocation funding. This was again recommended by our Parks and Recreation Commission and is to rehab the recreation facilities at the former Railroad Flat School. As you all know, the school was closed a few years ago and has been needing some attention and care. This is a huge resource to this very disadvantaged community up in Railroad Flat and serves many other Mount communities up in that area. These are great resources. It's a beautiful gym that needs to be reconditioned, put back into use, as well as the ball field, the playground structures, and the restrooms. I also have with me Commissioner Zero McDaniel from the Parks and Rec Commission, who would like to speak after your decision.
Is there any questions by the board? Ms. McDaniels, is there something you would like to say?
Good morning, Chairman Stopper, Supervisor Garamendi, Supervisor Toffanelli, and Supervisor Amanda Follendar. Yes, I'm the Park Commissioner for District 2, and I really want to thank you and really appreciate, on behalf of the communities up there, how much they appreciate this this effort. Since the school was closed, it's pretty much devastated the town of Railroad Flat. But this will serve not only Railroad Flat, West Point, Glencoe, a lot of the communities up there. And it's pretty amazing communities. If you haven't been there, they're still working, they're still going on a lot of volunteerism. But this project will be amazing, and that school will not fall apart. And I also am so appreciative of Mark Campbell and the board of CUSD for allowing this to happen. Thank you.
Thank you, Ms. McDaniels. Thank you for advocating for the community. Any further public comment?
There is no further public comment.
I'll bring it back to the board. If there's any questions, I'll call for a motion.
Mr. Chair, I'd like to move this item.
Thank you. Motion by Supervisor Garamendi.
I will second.
A second by Supervisor Toffanelli. All those in favor?
Aye.
Those opposed? Passes on a 401 absent by the Board of Supervisors.
And thank you to the commission
Thank you.
for the hard work, and thank you, Kathy, and our commissioners and Parks. Thank you.
Let's see, we've already done item 29, so I'll move on to item 30. Resolution, Public Works, conduct a public hearing pursuant to California Vehicle Code Section 35751, and 2, adopt a resolution approving traffic order number 328, establishing weight limits on Calaveras Road Bridge number 30C0024 on Calaveras Road, County Road number 42, and finding the project categorically exempt from CEQA. At this time, I'll open the public hearing. Mr. Packinger.
Good morning. I have Kelly Zanizer who here with us, which is our project manager on our bridge projects. This is an interesting effort by Caltrans. Caltrans reviews all of the bridges that we have in the county, in some cases sending underwater divers to look at what's happening to the structure underneath. With Calaveras, they've done a pretty comprehensive analysis of what's going on with the bridge. It's a pretty old bridge, and what they found is that some of the support members cannot adequately support the current loads. So they requested that the bridge be narrowed a little bit. We're going to put delineators on the bridge to channelize the traffic down the middle of the bridge, and this will keep the bridge's load rating at the rating that was presented here to you. I'm going to turn it over now to Kelly, our project manager, on this item. Thank you.
Ms. Sennheiser, good to see you.
Good to see you, sir. I'm actually going to turn it over. We need to open the public hearing, and Matt O'Leary from Caltrans will be doing the presentation, and he should be on the Zoom.
Good morning, everyone. Thank you for the time. As noted, I am Matt O'Leary. I am a senior bridge engineer within the Division of Maintenance of Caltrans.
Just one moment, Matt. I apologize. Can we just can you talk just a little louder into your microphone, please? I apologize. It's hard for us to hear you.
Sorry. As noted, I am Matt O'Leary I am a senior bridge engineer with the Division of Maintenance and Caltrans. My office is responsible for conducting federally mandated NBIS biennial bridge safety inspections for all bridges in Calaveras County. Based on a review of our load rating documentation and calculations, we have determined that the loads on this bridge shall be lowered and the clearances on the bridge be reduced as noted. This is pursuant to California Legal Vehicle Code Section 35751, and within that section, it requires that a public hearing be conducted and the public be formally notified of the reduction of loads. At the agreement of the Department of Public Works, this meeting will serve as that hearing. At the conclusion of this hearing, the Director of California Department of Transportation will legally order the bridge to be posted for 18, 21, and 23 tons with a horizontal clearance of 17 feet centered along the roadway and the bridge. With that, I'd be happy to answer any questions concerning the condition of the bridge, the structural analysis, or the recommendations for reduction of the load capacity.
Any questions by board members? Mr. Garamendi.
Thank you, Matt, and thank you very much, Kelly. What will be the impact to emergency response for fire or others? Can we move a type 3 across that bridge?
I believe the fire trucks in your district, this would have to be confirmed, or your county, have a gross load of 25 tons for a type 3 truck. This is reducing the type 3 truck from 25 to 18 tons.
I'm sorry, I
You need
can't
to
hear.
speak up more.
Sorry,
Can you
I
translate?
apologize again.
Yell at us, Matt.
A type 3 truck, which is typically a fire truck, I believe that your county would use, is reduced to a maximum load of 18 tons instead of 25 tons.
So they can't carry as much water, you're saying?
Correct. However, whatever they need to do to get across the bridge, correct.
Okay, so it can carry a type 3 loading? Okay.
Yes.
That's my main concern. And obviously, if you can take a truck, people can get out in an emergency.
Yes, yes.
Okay. School bus? Okay. So what kind of truck would not be allowed?
You know, I would defer to
Gravel truck.
Matt on that one. Yeah, I would say the big dual, the trucks that don't ever use that road anyway would be restricted. I mean, we're talking, it's a 5-ton difference from, on the larger trucks. So, yeah, I think we're okay. And also, just keep in mind, we're currently in the process of doing a rehabilitation project on that bridge. So hopefully this is just a temporary interim step until we complete that rehabilitation, and we'll be able to increase the weight back up, depending on the results of the rehabilitation.
I have no further questions.
Any other board members like to touch?
Pretty much touch the base I have.
Okay. I think those are only questions we have, Mr. O'Leary. We'll go ahead and give an opportunity for public comment.
There is no public comment.
Okay. Then I'll bring it back to the board, close the public hearing, and entertain a motion.
So moved.
A motion by Supervisor Garamendi.
Second.
A second by Supervisor Toffenelli. All those in favor?
Aye.
Those opposed? Passes on a 401 absent of the Board of Supervisors. Thank you for your time, Mr. O'Leary. We appreciate it.
I thank you as well.
Ms. Anheuser, it's
Thank you very
appreciated. Mr.
All right,
Packer.
pleasure.
Thank you.
Thanks, Harold.
So that concludes 30. We have an 11:30 posted time for item 32 when it comes to the map. So I'm going to go ahead and call recess until that time. Yeah? All right. Here we go. Welcome back to the Tuesday, December 7th, regular meeting of the Calaveras County Board of Supervisors. We are now on item 32 for a redistricting public hearing. Resolution, County Clerk, Recorder, and Registrar of Voters receive a presentation from staff, conduct a public hearing, and adopt a resolution establishing new supervisory district boundaries pursuant to Elections Code 21500. At this time, I'll open the public hearing, and good to see you, Ms. Callaway.
It's nice. Thank you for postponing this item. I appreciate it.
It's Ms. Turner.
Good morning, Board. Today I am bringing back the map that we have been looking at. On November 16th, the Board reviewed all map proposals and decided to move forward with adoption of Draft 6 after making further edits to incorporate all of Diamond 20 into District 4. This map alternative was initially created during the first public hearing held on October 26th, with edits being made at subsequent meetings of November 9th and 16th. The map has a total deviation of 7.71%. The communities of interest and census-designated places split by this alternative include San Andreas, Rancho Calaveras, Vallecito, and Valley Hills Estates. Public comments suggest that the proponents for Rancho Calaveras and Vallecito are content with the boundary split as they stand. Since the last public hearing, no further community of interest maps have been submitted. Public comment received since the last public hearing include 2 comments questioning the split of San Andreas, 2 comments in support of including all of Diamond 20 within District 4, 1 comment questioning Circle 20 being represented by District 5. With that, it's recommended that the Board adopt the map alternative presented with no further revisions. If adopted today, the signature in lieu filing period for the Board of Supervisors, District 3 and 5 will open January 4th, 2022. The filing period for all other offices begins January 3rd. That is all I have.
Thank you, Ms. Turner. Well, board members, you have nothing? Nothing?
Marita, you got something?
You got something, Ms. Callaway?
No, thank you.
Okay. I'm going to go ahead and provide the opportunity to the public for any further comments. Mr. Copeland, good to see you.
Yeah, Ralph Copeland, Copperopolis, D4. I'd just like to thank Rebecca and her staff, and also like to thank the Board of Supervisors for putting together this redistricting. I'd also like to thank you for keeping Copperopolis together. I know that, as Mr. Stopper said, this is the best to keep everyone least happy or something. I forget what the way.
It sounded backwards when I said it also.
Yeah.
I heard him too, Ralph. I heard him say that.
Yeah, or something like that. But again, and I'd also like to mention wrapping up 1 year with this Board of Supervisors. I'd like to say that the way you guys have conducted yourselves and worked through COVID and handled these issues coming through, it's a breath of fresh air seeing the cooperation and especially the results that come out. A lot of people may not agree with them, but at least you're making decisions and results and looking forward. So with that, thank you again.
Thank you, Mr. Copeland. Further public comment?
Ms. Sterling, would you like to make your comment now?
Yes, can you hear me?
Yes.
Good morning, Board. I just, again, would like to thank the Board of Supervisors, and in particular, our Supervisor, Amanda Follendorf, for taking the time to listen to the concerns of Diamond 20, which is where I reside. I appreciate you taking all of our issues into consideration, and as Ralph stated, keeping our community together. It's just been very heartwarming that we've been able to work well with the board. Appreciate all you do, and I also wanted to thank Rebecca Turner and her staff for doing a great job with the presentations throughout this entire process.
Thank you, Ms. Sterling. We appreciate it.
There's no further public comment.
With that, I'll bring it back to the board. If there's no further questions, I will close the public hearing. And Ms. Edwards, is there anything else I'm forgetting? I just want to make sure I'm dotting all my i's and crossing all my t's.
No, I think you're good to close the public hearing if there's no additional public comment.
All right, then, does someone want to make a motion?
I'd like to make the motion.
Are you on mute, Ms. Calloway? No, I'm joking. You're not on mute.
I know, you wish I was.
A motion by Ms. Calloway, and normally the chair does not make a motion or a second, but this time I would appreciate the ability to make the second. Follow up, Ms. Calloway. Thank you. Everyone approves except for Mr. Toffanelli, so I guess I'm good. With that, we have a motion by Ms. Calloway and a second by Supervisor Stopper. All those in favor? Aye. Any opposed? Passes on a 5-0 vote of the board. And this is the first one today, Ms. Calloway. All the others are 4-0-1 absent. It's good to see your face.
Thank you.
All right. I want to thank Ms. Turner and her staff, also Doug from GIS, County Council. It's a collaboration of a lot of work, making sure that we do this in the right way. And if it wasn't for staff, I would probably fall face first into it. So thank you for your time.
Yes, thank you, Rebecca and your staff, and all of you that worked on this. I know you've had some, over the course of the last 6 months, you guys have been really working very hard, many hours, and it's truly appreciated for what you guys do over there. Thank you.
With that, I think we're good to move on to supervisors' announcements. In compliance with Government Code 53232.3D, board members shall provide brief reports on any meetings attended at the expense of the local agency and may make other announcements or report out. Ms. Calloway.
Yes, I, as well as some of my colleagues, attended the California State Association of Counties Conference last week. I thought it was very well done. A key issue which will be coming forth this year is the Brown Act changes. The Brown Act was done many decades ago, and we discussed it in one of our subcommittee meetings in cooperation with the League and with school districts, both of which also fall under the Brown Act, that it needs some changes. Plus, there are items that we can do with our own procedures, still respecting the First Amendment, and I will hopefully be bringing them to the board just as recommendations for future discussion, because it must be agendized at our next meeting. There seems to be a lot of anger across the state, and threats, both implied and direct, to county boards of supervisors, and that crosses rural, urban, and suburban areas. It really made me appreciate how we operate as a board, and for the most part, the decorum of our residents. So I came away feeling positive about Calaveras and how our staff operates, how we operate as a board. Mr. Copeland addressed that, and our residents. Outside of that, I have an Area 12 Agency on Aging meeting this week. That's all. Thank you, Mr. Chair.
Thank you, Ms. Calloway. Mr. Garamendi.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. I also attended this California State Association of Counties Conference I agree with Supervisor Callaway. It was good, informative meeting, and I think it was well worth the time. In addition, I will be attending the RCRC board meeting in Merced County tomorrow and Thursday. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Garamendi. I also attended the CSAC conference. A lot of those meetings, while there's good information, are more PowerPoint oriented. I do appreciate the legislative meetings, and I think we built some new relationships with some surrounding counties that might have some viable solutions for us. In time we'll find out. And I have a whole bunch of meetings I got to attend to: CMCAA, CSEDD, Fish and Game Commission. I got all kinds of stuff I got to do this week, so my job's not done yet. I'll pass it on to you, Mr. Toffanelli. Unless you... Okay. Ms. Fullendorf.
I too attended the CSAC conference with the rest of the other board members, and being a first-time supervisor at the conference, it was enlightening, and it really highlighted the understanding the issues sometimes just in this county, they're statewide, and learning how other counties are adjusting and solving those problems. And it was a great conference, and that's all I have.
Thank you, Ms. Fullendorf. Mr. Toffanelli.
I did not attend the CSAC conference. And I did attend a COG meeting last Wednesday. And I have a Eastside Water Board meeting coming up on Friday. So that's what I have to report. Thanks.
Thank you, Mr. Toffanelli. Just want to tell everyone, I hope you have a good week. We'll see you next week. So I'll wish everyone happy holidays until then. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Thank you, Ms. Callaway.
Oh,